group chat. So it's 7 right now, so I'm just gonna start casually chatting about my kittens in case the live stream is working. Okay, I've been battling all week with these kittens in the garage behind my house. It's like my neighbor's garage. Anyway, they just need to get found, but they're not found.
Oh, it looks like we are live.
Says we're live now. I believe it.
I see us on. There's a delay.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you, Sean. Sean gave me the thumbs up from a distance.
Yay!
Wow. Okay, great. So yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, here we are. We did it. We learned a new technological thing today, and
there's been a learning curve for everyone with the pandemic.
Yes, that is true. And
it's a learning curve.
We're doing great. And you know what? Any day that you don't learn is not a day for the books. You know what I mean? Oh, I remember that the slogan of the first annual RVA Booklovers Festival was, "It's going to be one for the books." So for those listening, welcome to the RVA Booklovers Festival Foreword event. We're doing events at 7:00 every night this week to get people super stoked about the 3rd annual RVA Booklovers Festival, which is coming up this Saturday, May 8th. It's running from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's going to be a really cool author expo with a lot of authors. And there's going to be panels all day and poetry readings and children's book readings. So a little something for everyone. And we are so excited to be doing this Foreword event. My Zoom is losing its mind because I'm trying to open a Google Doc at the same time. You don't have to be this jealous, Zoom. We can do both. So we're here on behalf of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, respectively. Yeah, so before we get started, I just wanted to give a real quick shout out to our sponsor. The RVA Booklovers Festival has a lot of really excellent sponsors, but one that we're going to shout out tonight who's also sponsoring tonight's event in particular is E-Audio Productions. So E-Audio Productions is the premier destination for audiobook productions. They focus on high quality studio audiobook productions, and they have a roster of over 150 talented narrators who are able to perform any type of audiobook. E-Audio Productions exceed the industry standards by far, offering excellence in service and brilliance in sound. So you can find out more about them for all your audiobook needs at www.e-audiobookproductions.com. So thank you so much to E-Audio Productions for sponsoring tonight's event and Saturday's festival.
Woohoo!
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we love sponsors.
We love sponsors, and we love audiobooks too. So
very true.
So we're here to duke it out. This is Lord of the Rings versus Harry Potter. I think the oldest question, as old as good and evil, you know, everyone has been wondering, like, which is superior? How do people feel? So I'm here as a representative from the restricted section, which is a Harry Potter podcast for adults only. Okay, even though this live stream is going to be family friendly, like a strong PG-13 rating only on this. Yeah, it's fine. No, we're gonna do great. So that podcast covers the Harry Potter series. We do like an all spoilers all the time policy, and it's just a bunch of friends chatting about it chapter by chapter. Right now we're on Prisoner of Azkaban, which is
it's the best
on
book
my
of the
shirt.
Series. Oh, look at that.
Because it's the best book of the series.
I was the only one who didn't wear anything. I wore, you know, as an homage to Ron and Hermione in movie 5, I wore stripes.
There you go.
That's like the most specific. So
it's a very specific reference, but people who know what I'm talking about will know what I'm talking about.
So the restricted section is on the Movie Night Crew Network. And as always, when we meet new people, I feel it's really important to state that we're an anti-turf podcast. You hate to bring that up so early in the conversation, but needs must. And we don't want to leave things implied. We want to make that exceedingly clear. So love Harry Potter, not everything about it. So, Mary Clay, do you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing here? Who are you representing?
Yes. Hi. I am an occasional guest host on the restricted section, but full time, or I say full time, it's not my full time
40 hours
job,
a week.
but I host a little podcast called That's What I'm Tolkien About. So I am here representing the Lord of the Rings side of this. I don't even want to call it fight. I think we're just here to have a good time and talk about two things that we all love. But on That's What I'm Talking About, I am experiencing the world of J.R.R. Tolkien for the first time. I have finished reading the books and covering the Lord of the Rings movies, and right now I am reading The Hobbit. So you can check that out wherever you get Oh, actually, as we're speaking, a new episode came out today.
Yeah.
So go check that out. And folks from the restricted section are very frequent guests on there as well.
Haley is here as a frequent representative of the restricted section, and That's What I'm Talking About. And as someone who I think knows more about both of those fandoms than me, Mary Clay, or myself.
Yes.
Just say I don't have a life. It's okay.
Well, and I've seen you and Mary Clay get into some pretty good one level down from argument is a debate, right? Like a scholarly debate. So I'm pretty excited for how this is gonna go.
As long as we don't talk about the Prisoner of Azkaban movie, I think we'll be okay.
Okay,
that's for another time.
We will be covering that on the restricted section within the next month, so you have to save it, okay? Let me look at my list here. We're going to play Would You Rather today. My list is here right next to my post-it note that says do not swear. So that's my goal for tonight, is to not swear.
I feel like reading the comments. Hi to Daniel, Michael, Grace, and Steven.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
They all commented hi.
That is so great. I literally can't it's too many things. Like I don't know how to be on the live stream.
I pulled it up on my phone. I'm happy to watch the comments.
Thank you so much, Mary Clay. This is why we have you. Yeah, okay, because I'm running the list. So you get to run the questions if people if you
have questions or comments or something for us, leave them in the comments on the live stream.
Or if you have your own Would You Rathers, we'd be happy to do them. So Haley and I developed some of our own Would You Rathers, and then Mary Clay and I each respectively asked for some help from our own Discord servers. So we're gonna have we've got some pretty good questions. So let's just start. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Okay. Would you rather do magic with a wand or a staff?
A wand. Much more inconspicuous. Yes, I used the word correctly. So also, I would like to point out this weird little detail that in The Hobbit, Gandalf uses a wand. It's very strange, and it caught me off guard. I just wanted to point that out, that it's weird. I was like, a wand?
I had to upgrade him.
Wand. Yeah.
Oh, Haley, are you still thinking?
I think just for sheer aesthetic, because you're absolutely right, Mary Clay, a wand is a lot more portable, a lot more convenient, but
wait, what is the catchphrase of our podcast?
Yeah, it's all about the drama.
It's all about the drama.
When it comes down to wizards, it is all about the drama, and you don't get much more dramatic than like a gnarled staff carrying it around everywhere. You carry a staff around, people know what you're about. They know you're a wizard, and I'm not about that secretive life. I would like people to know if I'm a wizard, then I want people to know that I'm a wizard. So I'm going to go with staff.
Yeah. Okay. You're right about that. Yeah. Real quick question. Also a real question. I didn't make this up. From the comments, our friend Andrew says, this discussion will be spoiler free, correct? And I'm like, not sure if this is a sarcastic question, because our podcast policy is all spoilers all the time.
But that's very conflicting with my podcast, which is please don't spoil me on books that were written 100 years ago.
That's what I was going to say, is like, we will not be spoiling the last half of The Hobbit.
Yes, I'm currently about halfway through reading The Hobbit, and I have not seen the Hobbit movies. So as far as that
Mhm.
goes, that's the only thing I would like off territory, but
Although I've already spoiled for
everything
Mary
else.
Clay that the dwarves in the Hobbit movies are sexier than you would
yes,
think.
I've
when
heard that they're
reading the
very
book.
hot.
Not my fault. Yeah, they're hot. It looks like the chat overwhelmingly prefers staffs. That's crazy to me because I would pick a wand.
When you watch that scene in Two Towers with I call it the exorcism of Theoden. Where Saruman is expelled from his soul, and the very dramatic reveal. It's so dumb because they're like, Gandalf, you can't take your staff, and then Wormtongue, he has his staff with him the whole time, and then all of a sudden Wormtongue walks up and is like, "You have your staff," and it's like it was there the whole time. You couldn't hide it, but it's very dramatic.
I would just pick a wand for practicality. When I was in college, I used to keep my phone in my boot a lot. And I think that I would do the same thing with a wand.
We compare you a lot to Tonks, and I feel like that's a Tonks quality where she would keep it in her boot.
Dang it.
She would have a special holster on her boot for her wand.
Oh, that's a vibe. Obviously, right now I'm Professor Sprout. I mean, look at me.
With all the plants.
And the hat. I bought this is my Sprout hat.
Yes.
Although I did buy this hat specifically to do a bit of a risque Gandalf costume for Halloween.
There were fishnets involved.
There were fishnets involved. See, I said it was going to be PG-13, right? Okay, next question. Would you rather, I can tell which ones Haley wrote because of her language. Would you rather throw down with a Dementor or a Nazgul? And throw down with means fight, just to be clear.
Like, I wrote the question, but I still don't know.
It's hard because like you can ward off a Dementor with the Patronus charm.
Yeah, I guess it's like an important thing is like what tools do you have?
And
because like one is according to the text, any one of the three of us with a sword could, in theory, kill a Nazgul. I'm like, okay, we already said spoilers. I can just say it. I feel like you couldn't fight a Dementor.
Are we hand to hand grappling? Are we throwing hands?
Can you imagine grasping a Nazgul?
I don't know. It's so hard.
I mean, they do have. Okay, so the Nazgul do have like literal mass, like they're like disembodied spirits, but like they have enough mass that like they can wear a cloak and ride a horse. So I feel like you could punch one, like it wouldn't go super well for you, but like
I almost would rather this question be which one would you rather punch in the face? Because I don't want to touch a Dementor's face at all costs.
Yeah,
I don't really want to touch either.
I'll say Nazgul.
I'm gonna say Nazgul too.
Yeah, Nazgul don't fly.
I don't know. Oh, that's true.
Except for they have drakes at one point. So, but they can't fly independently.
Yeah, they can't like fully. Like Dementors can like straight up fly. Like,
yeah. Okay.
Also,
for that reason, I would fight a Nazgul.
The mere presence of a Dementor makes you feel. Depressed, and you're reliving like your worst thoughts and everything. It sucks the happiness out of the world. I can't remember if like, I feel like the Nazgul maybe have a similar effect just because that was always the description whenever they were like near like Sauron's forces. But
they fill you with dread.
But like not to the same effect.
Dread, but
it's not like magical level dread.
Yeah.
Danny brought up a great point. Danny says, doesn't matter. I'm going down either way.
That's true. Here,
shout out to our pal Danny.
Restricted section, and that's what I'm talking about. Our team die in the apocalypse.
No, I am not on that team.
We've talked about it multiple times.
Are you team try or team die? When the apocalypse comes. Yeah. Andrew says that a Nazgul would be a quicker loss, so he chooses that option. It's not very inspiring, gang. Okay, so let's do a fan submitted question. This one's from Charlie, who is a member of both of our Discord servers. Charlie asks, would you rather have on Harry Potter or Frodo Baggins as a podcast guest?
It depends. Is it Sorry, go ahead, Haley.
Which of our podcasts?
Yeah, sure. Either. I think that's a great question, because I think if Harry came on the Harry Potter podcast, he would not be fun. I think he'd be like, this is awkward. I feel uncomfortable.
I don't know how to talk about myself. Yeah.
So for the restricted section, on behalf of my podcast, I'm picking Frodo, because he would approach it, I think, with a scholarly zest. Mary Clay, were you going to ask, is it like like Mount Doom Frodo?
Yeah, is it pre Ring Frodo, or is it post Ring Frodo? Because post Ring is very depressed.
Yes, let's do pre Hike to Mordor Frodo and pre Voldemort's return Harry. So there's no trauma there, just light in life, you know.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Harry because he's so sassy.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do like a guest swap kind of.
Yeah.
That was a great question, Charlie. Thank you so much. Okay. Who's next? Okay, this one's from Becca on the WB&E Discord. Becca asked, would you rather spend a day with the Marauders or the Fellowship?
I'm gonna go with Fellowship, because it's just a camping trip. It's just a camping trip with a bunch of dads.
Wait, I have a quick interjection from the chat. Andrew points out that Harry Cannon does not do well in interviews.
Oh, that's true. Well, is it an interview, or is it like a co-guest? You know, is it a guest spot situation?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay. So as long as he's not talking about himself.
That's a great point.
Jason made a funny comment that I'm not going to read aloud because it's not rated PG-13.
Okay, so Fellowship or Marauders?
Yeah.
You go ahead, Christina.
I would probably
answer.
I would probably pick the Marauders. I think the if you ask me if I would rather spend a day with the Marauders or the Hobbitses, that might be more on par for me. But the Fellowship is so serious, and the Marauders are like high schoolers doing shenanigans, and I think that's fun.
I'm gonna go with Marauders just because I've just always where is our Netflix series about the Marauders era of
tell me about
Hogwarts? Because I think it would be really funny and fun and whimsical, but then you also have that touch of drama because of the rise of Voldemort, and given that like we all know their inevitable end and everything. I've always just wanted to know more about the Marauders, so I'll say the Marauders.
Yeah. Haley, did you answer?
Yeah, I said Fellowship because it's just a camping trip with a bunch of dads.
No, you're right. You're right. It is. You're totally right about that. Yeah, I think they're both great options for how to waste a day. Would you rather try to climb the Whomping Willow or an Ent whomst already does not like you? So neither one of these trees likes you.
Okay. I'll go with an Ent.
Yeah, I feel like I can reason with the Ent.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily.
Or
I was gonna say, Haley, you could pretty easily convince an Ent that you're a Hobbit, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, drag me for being short. That's fine.
And like the cottagecore thing.
Okay, that too. Okay. All right. That's okay. That's
it's
fair.
It's the hair. You could be Frodo's sister. You inherit Baggins.
My eyes aren't nearly big enough.
Okay. I too am gonna say Ent because the Whomping Willow is like designed to do murder, you know.
Yeah. Also, I really want to hang out with the Ents.
Yeah.
I will never get over the fact that so much Ent content was cut from Two Towers movie. I just want to chill with the Ents. So even if there's one like being mad at me.
Imagine like an Ent-led meditation. That would be so nice in the woods.
They're built for it. Just the slow, calm talking.
The chat overwhelmingly says Ents as well. I did look. I managed to get onto the chat, so I'm monitoring it now. Okay, great. So, which film series? This one's from Sam in the Discord. Which film series would you rather? He phrased it, which is a harder series to watch in a single sitting. So we're doing which would you rather watch in a single sitting. Sam didn't quite understand the assignment, but I'm grateful for his contributions anyway.
I mean, well, Harry Potter is longer, even when you factor in extended edition.
Yeah, let's say it's extended edition
of
Fellowship.
Lord of the Rings.
Just of Lord of the Rings, just to get their timing a little closer and like not in like the director's cut of Harry Potter.
How long is Harry Potter movies?
I don't think you could do that like in a day. You technically can do Lord of the Rings in a day, and I almost said legally. You legally can do it in a day. Okay, we're filling the air.
So
we're used to recording podcasts, so you can just cut out the dead silence.
Well, I don't know. Rebecca in the comments asks, are we including the Hobbit movies?
No. That's a different question.
I guess I'll go with Lord of the Rings. Because I think it's a lot less like monotonous of just like, okay, here we are.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings tells like one big story, whereas Harry Potter tells like, like 7
like,
different
okay,
stories.
Harry,
I think
get your life together.
Honestly, I think it's easier to sit down and watch Harry Potter end to end because like you can kind of drift in and out and you already know what's going on, whereas Lord of the Rings packs so much more in and like it's got a lot more like quiet space in the films.
Yeah,
I would rather watch the films all the way through.
That's like there's so many qualifying questions. Like, can I be doing arts and crafts while I'm watching? Like, how many of my friends are with me? Am I allowed to order pizza? Like these are all really important questions.
Yeah, can I have a coloring book? But like, assuming that all of these things are true, I would prefer to watch the Lord of the Rings extended.
Yeah, I think Lord of the Rings too. Have any of you ever done that or attempted it at either of the series?
I've watched the Harry Potter movies over the course of like a weekend, and I think I've done the same with the Lord of the Rings extended editions. I don't know if I've ever successfully sat down and watched either end to end in a single day.
All right, next snow day, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. We're not doing Harry Potter. I don't want to hate Harry Potter as much as I would at the end of that day.
Yeah, true.
Okay. I'm like highlighting these questions as we read them so I don't come back to them. Okay. Would you rather, here's a good one. So the episode that Haley and I were on of That's What I'm Talking About just a couple weeks ago, the dwarves were lost in Mirkwood. So would you rather be lost in Mirkwood or in the Forbidden Forest?
Forbidden Forest. Because at least you can at least like tell like what direction you're in. It's not notorious for being lost. Like there's not just one set path that you have to stay on, and if you stray off of it, you will die.
Well, yeah.
Like Mirkwood is actively cursed.
Yeah.
The Hobbit, like nothing in there except for like the elves is friendly, and even the elves don't want you on their lawn.
Yeah, I think calling the elves friendly is a stretch. They're not murderous.
They're the friendliest thing in the woods, and they're not that friendly. So like, whereas with the Forbidden Forest, like there's dangerous stuff in the woods, but if you run into like a centaur, you can ask for directions.
Yeah,
they won't give you useful directions. They'll tell you to follow the stars, but they will give you directions.
Mars is bright tonight. In the chat, my dad, for our last question, my dad says that he would watch The Lord of Hogwarts for 24 straight hours. So, hey, Dad, what's up? Thanks so much for supporting me. I would also watch The Lord of Hogwarts. That reminds me of like The Lords of Dogtown. Wasn't that like a skateboarding movie?
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's my thing. It's like talk first and then like figure it out later.
Talk first. Think
Smile
later.
more. Would you rather go on a date with Wormtail or Wormtongue? It's like
I'm gonna say Wormtail, because if we're going off of what is implied in the movies, which is that Wormtongue has at some point possibly harassed and or assaulted Eowyn. He has very creeper vibes. It's awful. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Wormtail. God.
wow.
Really,
How
I
about
think
if a
that's
person
option.
huh?
They're both horrible
I was
options.
gonna say, how about if a person do you have to be that worm tongue? Wait, hold on, I'm confused. Hold on. That worm tail is a better person than you.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But like also, so like not to bring up like super obscure details, but like the last date that Wormtail went on was Bertha Jorkins, and he took her out into the woods to get tortured. So like
neither one of them has a great track.
But was that a date? But was that a date?
he
Or
framed
was
it
that
as a
just a
date.
kidnapping?
I mean, it started off as a date and became a kidnapping.
I think it did.
Wait, did it really?
I think that she was like happy to find an old friend. Wait, okay, well we're gonna read that book next.
Okay, I'll clarify.
Yeah.
I'll clarify my answer, which is that because I'm imagining the date is in Madame Puttyfoot's tea shop.
Madam Puttyfoot. For those who haven't read the books, for those who don't listen to my podcast, in the books and not in the movies, because Harry Potter takes Cho Chang on the worst date I've ever witnessed in my life, including all of the rom-coms in all the worlds. It is so bad, and it's like a gushy, like adorable, like saccharine tea shop on Valentine's Day, and he ruins it.
It's just such a great example of like oblivious teenage boys. But anyway, as long as if this is like, you know, if we're saying okay, this is a date where I'm assuming you would go somewhere in public. You know, I would treat it like a Tinder date, you know, where like I don't necessarily know how much I can trust this person.
We're not going you're not coming to dinner at my house.
Have one of your girlfriends like text you halfway through to ask if you need rescuing, and then like call with a fake emergency about like your mom slipped on the cat and you need to come to the hospital right now.
Yeah.
It's just
except for he knows that your mom's dead because he told a secret that led to her death.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
It's complicated.
The cat that she slipped on his Crookshanks.
He is like the cat.
Hair thin margin, it would be Wormtail, but I'm not happy about that.
Are we all going Wormtail?
Yeah,
we're not happy about it.
Also,
Wormtongue would be easier to ghost though, living in a different dimension and all.
I could physically overpower both of them for sure, if in a pinch.
Well, see, my thing is that I think God,
you can do it.
No,
you're doing great.
Fork J.K. Rowling for literally looking at the name Wormtongue and being like, instead of I'm gonna take the worm part, and then I'm just gonna replace it with a different body.
No
part.
one will notice.
Wormtail. My date with Wormtail, I'm assuming, is that he would at some point be so uncomfortable that he just transforms into a rat and just disappears, and he's like, I'm outie.
Oh my gosh, you know how in What We Do in the Shadows, Laszlo screams bat to transform into a bat. Halfway through your date, Wormtail's just like rat.
And then flees into the store where he belongs.
Okay, would you rather someone is shouting out I can't read. Oh, Danny spies my cat. There's two Dannys in the chat, so I'm getting confused even though their names are spelled very similarly. It's not confusing. Would you rather live in a country that was being run/led by Cornelius Fudge or by Denethor? Haley, you wrote this
I
question.
know.
Now you have to answer it.
I didn't write it because I know the answer.
I'm gonna go with Cornelius Fudge because even though he's a blubbering idiot, it's like, I don't know, man, Denethor, come on. Gross. The what was it, the tomato?
Yeah, the tomato is a I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in the Geneva Convention. Something like eating tomatoes like that. That being said, he did manage to keep a city effectively under siege right next door to a hell universe that wanted them actively dead, up and running for a good long while. So I have more faith in Denethor's like legislative ability than I do in Cornelius Fudge's. And also, key point, Denethor does not consider one of his chief advisors Lucius Malfoy. So I'm going with Denethor.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Denethor because had Saruman not Saruman. Tolkien also did the thing where he's like, you know what, I'm gonna put a bunch of the same names in the book all at the same time. Had Sauron like not risen to power when he did, Gondor, like it wouldn't have been at its like height of success. Like obviously they still would have been awaiting the return of the king and everything. And like there always would have been like more potential for Minas Tirith and Gondor, but it wouldn't have been at least like Cornelius Fudge actively denied that Voldemort was back. At least Denethor was like, yeah, Sauron and Mordor. I can very clearly see that it's a thing.
Here's my metric. How would either of those two leaders have reacted to COVID? Like, I feel like Cornelius Fudge would be like a straight up anti-masker, and Denethor would be like all masks all the time, vaccine immediately.
Okay, here's the thing. That this is why I like Fudge. Because
I also like fudge. It's a delicious dessert.
One time I was like doing some research for the restricted section and I was like, oh, let me check this fact. And I just typed fudge into Google and I was like, wait, this is just recipes. And then I was like, oh, the whole universe isn't framed in Harry Potter. Here's the thing with Fudge. Fudge does at some point come to terms with the fact that he was wrong and step down.
I mean,
like gladly.
Denethor, just a very great height.
I was gonna say,
Denethor does. No, it is not the same.
He does step down.
Does step down. He does very much step down
via fire.
Okay, steps right on town. Okay.
I want to hang on real quick. Speaking of that, I want to point out what I noticed when I watched the extended edition of Return of the King, which is that there are these scenes that show Denethor and like his guards and Faramir being taken out of the city to make this pyre. And then later when he jumps off the top tier, we see where that is. So this implies, the extended edition implies that Denethor, after being set on fire, runs through the entirety of Minas Tirith back up to the top tier to jump off the top.
The dude never skipped leg day. That's all.
Okay.
I just like pointing that out because I think it's hilarious.
No, that's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Would you rather have to ask for a favor from Galadriel or the Grey Lady, who, as a reminder, is the Ravenclaw ghost who shows up in the 11th hour with the assist?
I mean, it depends on the favor.
Yeah.
Let's say you need a crown and it's lost because we're definitely not asking her for a lock of her hair. Come on.
I'll say Galadriel. I feel like as long as you're like humble and gracious, and sure, the price of that gift or favor that you ask for might be her staring into the depths of your soul.
I'd never survive.
But I would rather ask Galadriel because I think that would be more successful, because I feel like if you were to ask the Grey Lady, she would be like, no, go away.
Yeah, I think your chances are better with Galadriel, although she is objectively scarier.
I was gonna say I don't think Galadriel can float through walls, but also there's no walls really like that in Lothlorien. They're not made of stone.
She doesn't need to float through walls. She can see through them, like she can see through your soul.
Jason in the chat says he wants to try lembas. So Galadriel, are you implying that you're gonna go to Galadriel and be like, let me get some lembas bread?
You know what?
Can I have a cookie, please?
Yeah.
But she would give it to you.
She would give you a cookie.
Because it's just lambus bread. It's not like the stakes are much lower. Whereas I feel like it didn't matter. If you were to ask the Gray Lady for a cookie, she'd be like, go get it yourself. What do I look like?
I think she'd be like, what is a cookie?
Yeah.
Mary Clay, didn't you make lembas bread?
I did. It was very difficult.
It's basically like shortbread, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it ended up being basically just a recipe for shortbread. And then like the way that you were supposed to, I say supposed to because I was too tired by the end of this ordeal that I didn't like properly form it to make it look like the lambas in the movie. But I remember it made a lot of dough and it was so much effort to like roll it out and shape it that I think I made maybe like a dozen, and then I was like, oh, I'll put the rest of the dough in the freezer and maybe I'll make more later. I never did, and I ended up just throwing the dough out.
What? You didn't just eat it?
You know what? Yeah, as I said that sentence, I could have just eaten the dough, but
and nobody cares if it's baked. It's still dough.
Yeah. Well, I get a redo because I last week made cookies and had too much dough, and so I froze a good portion of it. So
okay, good. All right, so you're not
I will
doughless.
don't you worry, I will eat cookie dough.
This is your redemption arc.
Yes.
Okay, this one is from Claire, who is a member of both of our Discord servers. Would you rather hang out with Merry and Pippin, or do you even know, can you like guess who the other half of this question is?
Fred and George.
Fred and George. Merry and Pippin or Fred and George?
Oh, that's a toughie.
Side note, Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan are doing they're having their own podcast.
Yes.
It was like just announced today, I think.
That is so exciting.
They're talking about like, and it's not just like, oh, Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan are doing a podcast together. They're doing like they're doing it to like talk about like Lord of the Rings, and I think the premise is like to talk about their friendship like on and off the screen or something. And I'm just like, this is amazing. It's the dynamic duo we've all been waiting for.
If you had like asked me to pick two actors from any movie to start like any podcast about like that, like I think out of the whole world of movies, I think I would have picked those two. So I'm freaking excited.
Same.
Okay, but like Merry and Pippin or Fred and George?
I think I would prefer to hang out with Merry and Pippin just because like Fred and George as a unit are very insular. Like there's a lot of finishing each other's thoughts without like
I was about to be like sandwiches.
Yeah, right. Like they're not like consulting you about any, like you are a third wheel. You are third wheeling with them unless you are Lee Jordan and Lee Jordan only. Like,
now, honestly, like even in the scene where Fred and George are trying to bequeath the map to Harry, Harry is still like somehow left out of that conversation.
Yeah, they're doing a bit back and forth, but always.
And Harry's like, do I have to be here for this?
Yeah, and I feel like Merry and Pippin are kind of similar, but like they're more like willing and able to bring other people into their shenanigans.
Yeah, they're like so ready. They're like, okay, you're one of us now.
Would you like to go looking for mushrooms? I'm like, absolutely. Let's.
You know, it just really depends on what mood I'm in. If I want to go out and do shenanigans and like do something funny and like have pranks or whatever, I would say Fred and George. But if I want to like hang out at the pub and drink and eat and just like chill in the Shire, then I would say Merry and Pippin. So I think it just depends on what vibe you're going for.
Yeah, I would probably pick Merry and Pippin because of that long bottom leaf. Okay, let's move on. Quickly. Okay, so okay, from the Discord, the WB&E Discord, Becca asks, which broken weapon would you rather fight with? The Elder Wand or Narsil? feel like
broken when
they're-
you're fighting with
yeah,
it.
they're both broken. You get a broken sword or a broken wand. And so I'm biased.
We saw how a broken normal wand can backfire on you.
Oh my god, a broken elder wand is like, that's how you do the apocalypse.
Yeah, like with the Elder Wand, I feel like you wouldn't just burp slugs, you would be turned into a slug permanently. And that's the best case scenario. Narsil's still sharp.
Narsil's still sharp.
Yeah.
I have one of these two things tattooed on my body in its broken form.
Oh
So
yeah, that's true.
I'm going Narsil.
I'll go Narsil as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, because broken sword's still savvy.
Which I always like to point out, in the books, Narsil is reforged about halfway through Fellowship of the Ring, and it's in the course of like one sentence. It's literally like, and so
not epic.
Fellowship prepared to leave Rivendell. The shards of Narsil were reforged and became Anduril, and the end. Oh, also, Frodo and Sam wore green capes.
And they were adorable.
Yeah.
This one is okay. This was submitted by a WBNE Discord server person. Wait, I said that's so stupid. Someone from the WBNE Discord server who is known as Frosty Pandemic Hair. May or may not be their actual name.
Oh, here, let me see who that was, and maybe I can see that. So anyway,
like,
what did they?
They asked, I love this one. Would you rather attend a dinner party hosted by Gandalf or Dumbledore?
I'm trying to weigh the likelihood of the dinner party ending in me going on a quest that threatens my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like, is it a dinner party that you were invited to by Gandalf that he is throwing? Or is it something where he knocks on your door and says, "Hello, we're having a dinner party"?
Is at your house.
I'm gonna go with Gandalf because of the fireworks and everything, and given what we've seen from like Bilbo's birthday party and everything, I'll go with Gandalf.
I'm going Dumbledore. That man loves to party.
Yeah, I think that Dumbledore is a more ardent party planner. Like, I feel like Gandalf likes to show up for parties and just like contribute, but I feel like Dumbledore actively enjoys planning parties and also just statistically has a better track record of parties not ending in life-threatening journeys because he throws a few every year for school children. And a lot of those admittedly do end with like trolls in the dungeons or whatever, but a lot of them go completely okay.
Danny in the chat, not explicitly, but used an explosion emoji. So fireworks, if Gandalf is hosting the party, just a little reminder, that's fun. If Gandalf were bringing Merry and Pippin, then Gandalf.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Okay. What are we doing next? Okay, so Jason, who is I almost said WBNE creator. Who am I? A Movie Night Crew creator, and also in our Discord, Jason asks, if you would. No one in our Discord like followed the directions of Would You Rather, but I love them anyway.
This is the call out. We appreciate you, but follow. You did not read instructions. 0 out of 10 points awarded.
Okay, so would you rather? You are only allowed to keep the Blu-ray box set. Let's just assume you have a Blu-ray reader, because I don't. For one franchise, so like you only get like you get the DVD, the VHS, the whatever, the blue, whatever. Pick your poison. You only get one for the rest of your life.
Lord of the Rings.
You mean of? I talked over you. Say that again.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I almost talked over you because I thought you were saying you're talking over me. The joys of recording remotely. So basically, you only get one unless it's Christmas time on ABC Family. Then you get a little cheat.
I own both Blu-ray sets for both franchises, actually, so I don't have to answer this question.
No, you do. You got to give one up. Hand it over.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with Lord of the Rings because because they're never going to put all of those features and all of the extended edition. Like they're never going to have that for a free form, you know, movie marathon weekend, but all the time they show, and I know specifically that they will show the extended editions of Harry Potter on TV because of the amount of times that I'll be watching it on Freeform, and it'll have the "Who am I, Hedwig? What am I?" And that is the extent that is in
favorite
the extended edition.
Hedwig's like, I'm a bird. Like, what do you want from me?
Who am I, Hedwig? What am I? And just the fact that he walked to he like walked to the other side of the lake to dramatically look at Hogwarts.
Okay, recently I was upset and there's a lake next to my house and I did walk to the other side of it. And
yeah, but it's also like
if I had a dog, I would ask.
Also the dead of winter in that scene.
Yeah. And he's also 12 years old.
That's the
also
thing.
aren't they like supposed to stay on the grounds and everything?
What are the grounds?
Is the other side of the lake included in the grounds?
What is ground?
Anyway, so I'll say Lord of the Rings.
I think so too. I think Charlie and Sam were having a bit of a would you rather war. So we got a lot of Charlie and Sam submitted would you rathers, for which I am very grateful. Charlie asks, would you rather have dinner at the Burrow or at Bag End?
Well, again, were you invited to dinner at Bag End?
Yes, let's say you were invited to dinner at Bag End, and let's also say that this is like before the Fellowship, after the Hobbit, like Bag End. Like a nice little, like Frodo and Bilbo. And also
that's another part of life that I want to see, just like with the Marauders. I want to see Bilbo raising Frodo because I'm just sure it's so sweet and cute.
Gentle boys.
Yes. I'll say the Burrow just because I think the dinner with the Weasleys I think would be a hoot.
You have to
sneeze now.
Bless you, dear. It's definitely like more, you would need like your social energy to be high to go to the Weasleys, you know, whereas like I think you could go to Bag End if you're feeling a little introverted, you know.
Yeah. Also, are we going there for 11sies? For second breakfast, for afternoon tea, supper, dinner?
Molly Weasley will give you food within 5 minutes of your entering her home, no matter what time it is. Okay.
I think that as you say, Christine, I think your social energy would need to be really high to visit the Weasleys. My social energy has never been high a day in my life.
Yeah, but my house is pretty much the Burrow, okay?
Yeah, but you don't have 7 kids. So, yeah.
That is fact.
Jason in the chat brought up a good point, which is that Bag End is built for hobbits.
I'm short.
And Jason is 6'2".
He's 6'2".
Okay, so Jason, you're not invited. Haley,
So
you might be able to make it work.
No, I'm going to Bag End. I wanna hang out with weird bachelors in a hole in the ground.
You'll fit right in.
I will.
As I've said, I'm just gonna keep calling you a hobbit. I think I'd go Burrow. Although, like, my personality, I would be intimidated about like asking Molly if she needs help and like giving her space to get it done. You know what I mean? What do I do? Okay, great. So this one's from Charlie. Would you rather J.K. Rowling / we call her Voldemort, would you rather her get off Twitter forever, or would you rather have Tolkien rise from the grave and get a Twitter account?
Oh.
Wait. If I choose, I would rather, hang on. The implication of would you rather implies that if you choose one, the other thing doesn't happen.
Okay,
so
wait. Would you rather have J.K. Rowling, be on Twitter forever? Wait, okay, hold on.
So your options are
there's a good would you rather
Tolkien nor Rowling on Twitter, what with Tolkien being dead, or they're both on Twitter.
I mean, obviously neither one on Twitter would be better, right?
Yeah, because I say all the time, I'm so thankful that Tolkien is dead.
Yeah, I do love the implication of Tolkien rising from the grave so I can go find him and bother him.
I do. It would be great to tweet at him and be like, explain Tom Bombadil now.
I love the notion of Tolkien rising from the dead, like exclusively to be on Twitter. He's like, I heard about this. Y'all are asking dumb questions. I'm here to set you straight.
His ghost is just possessing a Twitter account. The thing is, like, Twitter, I think, just genuinely makes people worse. So, like, I'm going with neither.
Okay.
Yeah. Same.
What's next? La 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 la. Okay, here's like an old classic, and we've done this on the restricted section before. So would you rather, there's no Lord of the Rings in this one, but it's a good would you rather. Would you rather fight one Hagrid-sized spider or 100 spider-sized Hagrids?
So 100 tiny Hagrids, or
Yeah.
one giant spider.
Yeah.
You know,
let's say the Hagrids are maybe like 2 inches tall. It's like a proper spider, not a cute little baby. Grace just says, how dare you? I'm not really sure what that's related to, but people are liking her comment.
Because I hate spiders, so I don't want to fight a giant spider, but I feel like the 100 spider-sized Hagrids, you could flee them pretty easily, but then they would come and find you, and it would be like having mice, like they just keep finding ways into your house.
But also,
you know that you have like a phobia of being found by tiny things, Haley.
I also do have that.
Tiny things, don't find her.
Just please, God, don't.
Yeah.
But also Hagrid is a very gentle creature, so I feel like he wouldn't want, I feel like if he had 100 tiny Hagrids, it wouldn't matter, because I feel like he wouldn't want to fight, you know?
Let's say that they're full of rage and they want to murder you.
Okay, in that case I'll go one Hagrid-sized spider.
Do you remember, this is such like a tangent. Do you remember freaking Spy Kids 2? Steve Buscemi with all his like tiny weird animals.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say with the do you think God stays in heaven because he too fears the things he created?
That weirdly deep line in the middle of Spy Kids.
And we're like, 10-year-olds or however,
Yeah,
12.
I don't know.
And we're like, what the heck?
I am ultimately going to go with fighting 100 spider-sized.
What?
Just because I think I could outrun them.
Here's the crazy thing: when you're thinking about like a giant spider, it's like if you read Lord of the Rings, oh my gosh, is it at the end of Two Towers in the books, right? Shelob.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you read that, you're like, this is a literal nightmare. But if you read about Bilbo bouncing around Mirkwood murdering spiders, you're like, wait, this seems kind of easy.
Two different vibes.
I know.
Yeah,
I would go with. Oh, sorry.
Well, I think the 100 tiny Hagrids could swarm you, and so I think it would be
have to catch you first.
Easier. But that implies that you always have to be running for like the entirety of your life. You're just always running away from these Hagrids. To a point
where like they can't, like, once you get out of their sight, like I feel like they can't really track you. They don't really have any means to do that, unless they all have itty bitty umbrellas. Wands in them.
Those are their stingers.
Like a cocktail umbrella.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I choose one big spider, especially if I'm allowed to still have Narsil from that previous question.
Yeah,
touch a giant spider.
Okay, let's move on. I won't ask this other spider related question. Would you rather? Okay, there's several. Would you rather fight? Would you?
Do we have to fight?
Oh, Haley, I'm not going to read this one because this is a Hobbit spoiler, Haley.
Sorry.
I almost read it. Would you rather?
Glad I didn't read them in the Discord.
It's really not that big of a spoiler, but I mean, whatever. Would you rather go into battle with mithril chainmail or a goblin-made sword? like the sort of Gryffindor's or Goblin Maid
It's
sword.
basically offense or defense.
Yeah, offense or defense. You're right. That is
But
the
like
question.
really good offense and defense.
I was gonna say they're
I'll go
excellent.
Mithril chainmail.
I'm going
because
Mithril.
I'm not just like given my record, my like track record playing video games where it's like shots fired 500, shots hit 3, and then I've lost 50 hearts.
Going by that same logic, my attack in video games is to go stealth and then be really bad at it, and suddenly I'm in the middle of a ring of like 1,000 orcs, and it's like oopsies.
Yes!
And it would be really nice to have that mithril chainmail at that moment.
Plus, like the mithril chainmail, like when you're not in battle, it's just a cute accessory. So
Well, also so is the sword. So
I mean, a sword is an excellent accessory for. I mean, it's unisex. It's practical. You can wear it anywhere. It is heavy. The chainmail is explicitly not heavy, so that's why it wins.
Magic.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that. Both of these whole series are magic. Okay, great. Oh, we did it. I was like, who's going next? Okay, this one's from Charlie in the Discord. Charlie says, would you rather have Gollum or Dobby as your bodyguard? And let's say it's a non-murder Gollum. It's Smeagol.
I was gonna say, is it Smeagol?
It's good. It's good, Gollum.
Still Dobby.
Yeah, Dobby.
Yeah. Dobby has magic.
And if you're like, hey, I really wish I had. I mean, I'm not implying you should take advantage of Dobby's enslaved history as a house elf, but I bet if you were to like be lying in bed, like, oh man, I really wish I had some cake right now, he would be like, okay, and he would go and get it for you.
Okay, so
he just like
Eagle would be like, me too.
The question was bodyguard, not cake,
oh, bodyguard.
cake server.
At the drop of hat.
I've said this before. I don't vibe with Dobby like y'all do. Everyone loves Dobby, and I'm like, I don't.
No, Dobby is kind of annoying, quite frankly, but like he's just more. If I need a bodyguard, if I'm in a situation where I actually need a bodyguard, Dobby is just objectively.
Well, it depends. Is Smeagol, if Smeagol has like any ounce of allegiance to you, he will definitely like go to whatever ends to protect you.
They'll both go too far.
his ends are limited. He's 500 years old and he doesn't have magic.
But also Dobby, thinking about Dobby protecting Harry at the end of Chamber of Secrets, how it's just he has very powerful magic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I will go with Dobby.
I'm going. I think Dobby successfully saves Harry's life.
Like all the times.
3 times? 3 to 4?
Jason says
concretely.
Jason says, good Lord, obviously Dobby.
Yeah, exactly.
He says
in that situation.
He says Smeagol does not bathe and I'm not washing him.
It's true. Well, does Dobby bathe?
Yeah, Dobby
I don't want to go. I don't want to think about these things.
Okay, would you rather wear the One Ring or the Horcrux locket for a week? And let's say that it's the Lord of the Rings One Ring and not the Hobbit One Ring. This is a medieval ring.
I'll go with Lord of the Rings ring, because at least you're invisible. You're gonna feel terrible either way, but at least you're invisible with the ring.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty far away from Sauron. Like I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
I guess we didn't stipulate like where we're located.
I mean, if we're on top of Mount Doom and I put the ring on, then nope, maybe not.
Imagine what a great relief it would be if you're having like a depressive week. We all have depression weeks, and then you're like, gosh, this whole week I've just felt so funky, and I just wonder why. And you look down and you're like, oh my word. I'm wearing a Horcrux. Would you look at that? And then you take it off, and it's just
you just summarized like a third of Deathly Hallows.
Why don't they do cheering charms? Why don't they take breaks from it? Like, why don't they wear it around their wrist? Why does it have to be like this?
I know. A lot of questions.
Catch us in 6 years on the restricted section when we cover that. Okay, we're getting to the end of our hour here. Let's ask maybe one or two more and then we can wrap it on up. Before we do our final questions, just another shout out to our sponsor, eAudio Productions. We're so grateful for your support. eAudio Productions is sponsoring this live stream, and they're also sponsoring our the festival on Saturday, which we'll talk a little bit more about that again at the end if you missed it at the beginning, but just a little shout out. Shout out.
Dumbledore clap.
Yeah, that's a very polite podcast clap, Haley. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Would you rather, okay, I feel like I need a stipulation for this one. Would you rather have Sam or Ron have your back? But like, let's say Ron at his best, right? Like best Ron. The Ron who's like, but what about the house elves and Deathly Hallows? Like the best Ron.
Yeah.
And like any old Sam.
No, I love them both.
Is it book Sam or movie Sam? Because they are different.
Let's say book Sam and book Ron, okay? Because I want it to be a fairer
I'll
fight.
go with book Ron.
Okay.
I know that's going to be harsh words for a lot of people, but book
No,
Ron,
it's-
because
no,
Sam annoys me too much for me to want him to have my back.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, book Sam, it just has a lot of feelings. He has a lot of feelings, and like, God love him, I can't deal with that 24/7. Like,
It is
Ron,
a lot.
It's a lot. Like, Ron is a little more self-sufficient, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Ron.
Okay. All right. I'll
So
take it.
there's no weird like master servant implications.
Yeah,
in
that whole
that
thing.
relationship. It's not fun.
It's so strange because when you're reading it, you're like, is this just like from a bygone era? Did people used to be best friends for life and possibly lovers with their gardeners? Like, I'm so confused.
The answer is yes.
Okay, here's a good one. Okay, let's say that you're just like alone with this other person. Would you rather have Harry or Frodo just faint on you when you're just alone?
They both do a lot of fainting.
Frodo's lighter though.
Frodo is lighter.
is
You're
true.
right about that. Harry usually comes around
Harry's
pretty quickly.
pretty skinny and gawky. I think I'm gonna go with Harry because Harry will want to quickly move past it, whereas Frodo, like I've said before, he's a very depressed boy. And I'm not sure, this may sound insensitive, I'm not sure I want to be there to deal with all of the feelings involved.
There's going to be a monologue when he wakes up. There's definitely going to be a monologue.
Whereas Harry's gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's go see Lupin and see if he has chocolate.
Also, knowing Frodo, he's fainting into a swamp full of dead bodies or something.
I'm
Into
still gonna
Mount
go with Frodo
Doom.
because I don't have a lot of upper body strength.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the one that's easier to pick up if need be.
Okay. Yeah, I buy it. This is the last call to all of our listeners out there, viewers. Oh my God, they've been watching us this whole time. I'm not used to it. So all of our viewers out there, if you have any would you rathers, now's the time because we're about to wrap it up. So, but we would love to answer some would you rathers from you. So throw them in the chat. I'm clocking it. So yeah, do that. Okay. Would you rather stay a night in the Prancing Pony or the Three Broomsticks?
Well, is it a night in which Nazgul are gonna come attack a
Let's
bunch
say
of
no.
pillows?
No, let's say it's just a normal night. Just like a great night. In fact.
Oh, Prancing Pony, 100%, because there's a good chance there's gonna be a certain skulking figure in the corner.
That okay, well,
yes, it's a pony, yeah.
yeah, Prancing Pony.
Yep,
It's Aragorn. I don't know if people know who we're talking about. Just in
Sexiest
the corner.
character intro of all time.
He's probably not there, especially if he's king now. Okay, well that was
But
the easiest
there's
one
also-
we've done.
It also could be that Bill the Pony is in town.
Bill the Prancing Pony.
The Prancing Pony's named after Bill the Pony.
He's a dancer in his spare time. Okay. Last question. Let's make it a good one. Would you rather fight Hagrid
Yes.
or Tom Bombadil?
Hagrid, because Tom Bombadil would I don't know what Tom Bombadil can do, and I think that's what's more terrifying.
So here's the thing. I feel like fighting Hagrid would be like the scene in The Princess Bride where Wesley fights Fezzik. It's just like, he would give you like a couple free swings just to be fair to you, and then he would kind of just pick you up and put you on something because he doesn't bear you any ill will. He doesn't want to hurt you, but you're not gonna win that fight. But here's the thing, I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with not winning that fight. Tom Bombadil, I don't know what he's gonna do because I don't know anything about Tom Bombadil.
It's the mystery, which is
Yeah,
terrifying.
he's a complete mystery. He lives in enchanted woods. He somehow has the hottest wife. I don't trust him.
There's so many questions. Okay, great. So that was our last question. We're going to do one final bonus question after the spiel I'm about to give. It's a good spiel. Stick around. You know, I'm fun with spiels. So as a reminder, this is a festival forward event. The festival that this is forward to is the RVA Booklovers Festival, which is happening this Saturday, May 8th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's online. It's all virtual. It's through the events platform Hopin, which is
doing the confetti reaction.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, people can see it. Yeah, I'm really excited too. If I had some actual confetti, I'd throw it. Yeah, there's going to be a book expo with a lot of really cool indie authors and small presses and literary nonprofits. And there's going to be panels and readings and poetry readings. Oh, I hate the way I just let that happen. On 3 stages, we have a poetry stage, a children's stage, and a main stage. So there's a lot of really fun stuff going on. And again, a super, super, super special shout out to eAudio Productions, who's sponsoring the festival on Saturday and who sponsored this live stream. We're so grateful for all the support you've provided. eAudio Productions is the premier destination for audiobook productions. They focus on high quality studio audiobook productions, and they have a roster of over 150 talented narrators who are able to perform any type of audiobook. eAudio Productions exceed the industry standards by far, offering excellence in service and brilliance in sound. So for all your audiobook needs, definitely check them out. And you can find out more at www.e-audioproductions.com. And you can find them on the festival website as well, if you didn't catch it. So special shout out to them. We're so grateful. And the Booklovers Festival, you can find that by, this event is hosted by RVA Booklovers. So you can just click on that. There it is, the event, or you can go to rvabookloversfestival.com and sign up there. So real quick, let's just remind people what we're doing here. I'm Christina Kahn. I'm the host of the Restricted Section podcast and the founder of the Movie Night Crew podcast network. The Restricted Section is an adults only Harry Potter podcast. I just cannot emphasize enough how much it is for adults only. And I did not swear this whole time, so...
Yay.
So yeah, it's a chapter by chapter read through. We've all read it before, all spoilers all the time. So definitely join us there. New episode out tomorrow featuring Mike Schubert from Potterless that Mary Clay's on. Yeah, really exciting stuff. So wherever you get your pods, that's where we're at. Mary Clay, how about you?
Yes, I am the host of That's What I'm Tolkien About. I'm experiencing the world of J.R.R. Tolkien for the first time, and I am currently doing a chapter by chapter read through of The Hobbit. There are new episodes every Tuesday, wherever you get podcasts, and it is a part of the WBNE network. You can go to WBNE.org to learn more and see all of the other wonderful shows on our network.
Awesome. And also a shout out to everyone who's been watching today. We're so grateful. I've never done this kind of stuff on camera before. So thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. And before we go, let's do one last question. Would you rather be J.K. Rowling's or J.R.R. Tolkien's editor?
It would be so much easier to be J.K. Rowling's editor.
Would it?
because I think
Tolkien's.
I think Tolkien's would just be all over the place. I mean, I won't say too much more, but lest we forget the Hobbit milk comedy sketch.
Okay, well that's okay. If you haven't seen Hobbit Milk, you gotta go look that up.
Go see that. But I
it's
think
not sexual, just to be clear. It's hilarious.
It's a little explicit. It's a little explicit. Let's put it that way.
I would say PG-13. It's PG-13.
It's as sexual as watching a mother cat breastfeed her kittens.
Anyway,
we're not ending strong. Carry on.
I think it would be a nightmare to have to be an editor of J.R.R. Tolkien. I think, like, imagine, like, you are Christopher, Tolkien, piecing together
Christopher Rolkin Tolkien.
Yes, his son, piecing together all of these notes and all of these songs. Like, he had such an expansive history. He has songs for every occasion, and I can only imagine like what the original manuscript was that he turned in to, the publisher, and was like, this is the book I want to publish, and they're like, this is a nightmare, we're gonna cut it down by 1,000 pages and split
he tried to publish it all as one book.
That's the thing is Haley and I are both editors for Brainy Lane Publishers, and we don't consider books of that length. We would not have considered it for 1 second.
So I think by your standards, then you would have to be J.K. Rowling's editor, because you would have to reject.
I would. Okay, God.
I would edit Tolkien freelance and just give up every other project. I would be like, this is my life's work now. Being your editor is my life's work now. I would do it in a heartbeat.
You would do a great job, and I can picture you both sitting in front of a fire with a glass of whiskey, arguing about the nuances.
I fantasize about that.
I'd pick J.K. Rowling. That's so much more my speed. I do a ton of middle grade and YA contemporary, so that's just my speed. Okay, great. Well, that's the end of it. Thanks so much again, everyone. Another special thanks to E Audio Productions, and please come join us all at the festival on Saturday. We'd be happy to have you. All right, 1, 2, 3, bye.
Bye.